This second part of the video recording of how I created a Year 9 Digital Technologies program is looking at the multimedia component. So first of all, I give these students their assessment task. Okay, so what they need to do is to design an interactive multimedia poster which triggers augmented reality, experiences for important graphics and messages, and a quick response for video footage. The possible themes I give students are e-waste, identity theft, being a smart consumer, sexting and the law, fishing, farming, digital footprint, and copyright. You just can't take that. Okay, so step one, you need to go back and revisit the design process. Now, I've integrated this from my Year 7s through to Year 8s through to Year 9s. So by the time I get to Year 9s, after a couple of years, they should be familiar with it. So we're looking at the process of defining, designing, implementing, and evaluating. Okay, so first of all, the defining part is during this stage, the project is understood and broken down into smaller tasks. Okay, so from their assignment sheet, students need to break down what they need to do. It's suggested that during this stage, the teacher will go through the resources below, which I'll show you in a minute, so that students have an understanding of what AR is, which part of the poster can be augmented, what is QR, the video component of the QR section, and a reminder again about using royalty-free images. This is the stage where students need to choose their topic. They need to research information, messages, and possible solutions which they would like to portray to their target audience. The notes for this section need to be recorded and referenced. So let's have a look at the assessment task and rubric. So first of all, I've outlined the purpose. This assessment task is designed to allow students to define and investigate a real-world digital technology problem. That is one of the themes which I offered them. Critically evaluate how they can offer solutions for existing technology problem. Design an interactive multimedia experience considering privacy and security requirements, and understanding and applying the design process. So again, there I've listed the description of their assessment. I've put a note here that your poster needs to clearly represent your chosen theme and identify possible solutions for your target audience to reduce potential risks to themselves and or the environment. The primary software which we'll be using is Adobe Illustrator, secondary software, Adobe Photoshop, Animate, Erasmus, which is an online resource, a QR code generator, again online, and some sort of video editing software such as Movie Maker, Video Scribe, or Photos Director, which is a Windows app. These are the things they need to submit. So they need to submit their notes about their chosen theme and possible solutions, which need to be referenced. They need to actually submit their Adobe Illustrator file of a poster. So that means that'll allow the teacher to see the different layers within the posters and what work they've actually done in it. A printed version of the poster. I'm going to get my students to upload their video to our class Office 365 video channel for security reasons. I don't allow them to upload, it's a school policy, online any video content. Check out your school policy to see what your rules and regulations are, but Office 365, if you have it, a video channel is a great and secure way for students to upload and share their video resources. And also they need to submit an evaluation of their multimedia project. I also give students an assessment rubric, which goes with it. This is a work in progress, so I've divided it into the different areas so students can clearly see. Now, this assignment is worth 70% of the subject. So each of these here are worth 10%, which will clearly give them a score out of 70. So looking at the things from defining the problem, looking at the Adobe skills, these are the skills which they're going to use during their class activities. The actual implementation, their poster design, the use of AR and QR, the video, their evaluation and ethics. Now, it's really important here that they do reference their materials, and I encourage them to use royalty-free images and audio because we went through that in the previous section. Okay, so the next part is designing. Okay, this is the creative part of the cycle. During this stage, get students to sketch prototypes or things that they like to do. So get them to plan the poster. Now, simply doing it on paper is fine at this stage. Get them to put what is the main background going to be? What pictures would they like to augment to create an Erasmus? Okay, the QR code, where will that appear on their page? Then you've got some really core teaching happening here. This is teaching students how to use the Adobe products. Now, Adobe Illustrator is the main resource they're going to be using for their poster creation. However, it's also important that students know how to use Adobe Photoshop. They can upload photos, they can edit it, save it as a PNG. Once they've saved and worked on their editing of their pictures, then they put it into Adobe Illustrator. You can also use Adobe Animate. Illustrator is ideal because it draws vector images. You don't worry about getting in any of the distortion through the pixelation. However, I do like Adobe Animate for drawing as well, if you select the vector image drawing. So you can draw in that as well. I've got video tutorials as well. So really during the 6 lessons is getting students familiar with Adobe Illustrator, which will be the main platform for creating their poster, looking at the different layers. Looking at Adobe Photoshop for editing and changing different images. Animate, possibly, my personal choice, doesn't mean it's best choice. I like to create, so get them to draw some of the animations within there. The next stage is you really need to give students some background information about what makes a good poster. What are the elements and principles of design? So go through with student the different elements of designs, the principles of designs, whether it's figure or background, the balance, contrast, cropping, hierarchy, scale, proportion, pattern, and so forth. There is a great video tutorial here on ClickView, which goes for about 30 minutes. You can work through with students. You may also find some resources available on YouTube. The next stage I see is having a look at augmented reality. Like, what is augmented reality? Even though this video is 4 years old, it gives students a good explanation about what it is, found from YouTube. Then give students some different examples of how AR is actually being used. IKEA is a great example. The IKEA catalogues do use augmented reality. Pokemon, all students will be familiar with Pokemon. This is augmented reality and how it actually works. Microsoft, I'm a big Microsoft fan here, so looking at Microsoft HoloLens and mixed reality. Gaming, this video is awesome, where you actually put on your HoloLens set and you actually game and these different creatures come out of the walls, pretty awesome. And many students will be familiar with the Minecraft HoloLens. Got to get there, have a look at it, show your students, absolutely amazing. The whole world is augmented, comes to life, absolutely awesome. Now, your students can't create these awesome things. However, using a platform called Erasmus, which is free, they can create auras. So basically, they create their poster, save it as a PNG, upload it to Erasmus with the online account. Then they actually upload the text or the images which they'd like to be augmented, put them over the top. Then you can save your picture, download it. Then somebody comes along with a smartphone or phone or iPad or whatever device with the Erasmus app, hover over the top, and bam, their poster is augmented. Following on now to the implementation stage. Okay, so now students are actually going to create their poster. Okay, so they create it in Illustrator, upload to Resume like I previously said. Remember, they need to save room for their QR code. They also need to know how to create and edit. Now, their QR code will link to their video file, which they're going to create. They're creating a video will allow students to get in a heap of different content and messages across to the audience. You are very limited in the form of a poster and how much text which can appear on a page. So by having a QR code at the bottom, where you can come along and scan it, then students will be able to see a video of themselves portraying information about their digital technology problem and possible solutions. Now, this can be an individual or actually more creatively a group task. I've suggested here Movie Maker. They could use Screencast-O-Matic, Video Scribe, or Photo Directors. And again, for privacy reasons, I've asked for my students to upload it to the Office 365 video channel. Then comes the QR code. It's important for students to know how QR codes developed, from the standard barcodes, which had a certain amount of data, to a QR code which can be read vertically and horizontally, increasing the amount of data which can be read. So students can quite easily create their own QR code using either one of these resources or another one, and inserting on their poster appropriately, thinking where they're going to position their QR code so people can come along and scan it and then see the video supporting their poster's message. Then finally comes the evaluation, which is a very important part of the design process. So during the evaluation test stage, they test it, make sure it works. Then they need to critically reflect, okay? What new things did they learn? What was the most difficult? What was the most enjoyable? What would they change next time? What additional tools do they wish would exist? This is a higher order thinking question. What knowledge do I wish I had before I started, and what could have I done better? And that is a very quick and brief overview of a Year 9 Digital Technologies program, incorporating existing problems, solutions, and creating a multimedia presentation to present it to a desired audience.